to Heartbreakers, starring Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt from the year 2001. 2001 is one of my favorite years for movies. This movie,
That was a high point.
Rat Race, Pootie Tang, Moulin Rouge, I think too. There's a bunch of movies that are
Scooby, I
cool.
think.
I think Scooby Doo won, yeah. Just a good year for movies that I like. Anyway,
Very goofy.
yeah, I'm gonna look it up on IMDb though. So the basic premise is.
Let me tell you though,
Okay,
Doug,
okay,
I
go.
was gonna, I was on Tubi and I was gonna type in the whatever movie we were gonna review, but it's like, oh, we have Heartbreakers, and I'm like, nope, we're watching that.
Fair enough. It's good. Well, that's what Tubi tries to do. They get those pristine titles that they maybe only have for a little bit, and they try to be like, watch it while it's still here, because this is like for
Yo,
for,
but
for,
then
for
it'll
Tubi.
autoplay, Texas Chainsaw for the 57th time,
Yeah.
right?
Boom, just like that. No, yeah, don't worry about that. We're doing it now, so there you go.
Yeah, it's
But
good shit.
yeah, absolutely. So 6.2 out
Can
of
I
10.
tell you right now what I was whining about all the way through?
Go ahead.
What is Jennifer Love Hewitt usually remembered for?
Her
What
cup,
comes to mind when you hear her name?
her cup size.
Yeah, her tits. She
Yeah.
had range in this movie. She got to play so many different characters. They had so many wigs, right?
Yeah.
Like, she has chops, and it's a shame she's only remembered for her tits.
Ghost Whisperer. She's remembered for like this thing she's into. Like people talk about Ghost Whisperer. It's like a
Well,
generally
yeah, but the first
liked
thing that
show.
comes to mind is her rack.
I don't not necessarily. I think like the Rack and or Ghost Whisperer are the first things people think of. Uh,
Oh, okay.
but I don't know. It could be. It's a little bit of column A.
And I
It's a
gotta
little
say,
bit
her
of column
rack
B.
is stunning in this movie.
Yes.
So is the cougar.
Sigourney Weaver. Wow. Yeah. No, she looks great in this. They both look great. Lots of good performances in this. Gene Hackman is pretty funny in it. You got
Yeah.
Ray Liotta is good. Everyone's pretty good, but except for the one person that you already said was really good. I love Jennifer Love Hewitt, but I think her performance was just a little bit wooden at times in this. Just a
Oh,
tad.
damn.
For me, she was probably the weakest actor of all, and she was doing it, but it was probably
Well, I'm not
the
saying
weakest for
give her
me.
awards or anything. I'm just saying she's more than just her body.
No, and I absolutely agree. She's a better actor than a lot of people. Like if she was in like a lower grade B movie, I'd be like, okay, she's doing great. But this is like
Yeah.
she's with some of the greats, like
Oh, yeah, she's with some names.
with Sigourney Weaver and stuff. So just on that level, but still enjoyable, and that's a pretty minor nitpick. I like.
Then, Jason Lee is in there for some reason. We only know him from Kevin Smith movies
And my name
at
is
this
Earl.
time.
Oh, I guess my name is Earl is a little later. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. But yeah, what was I gonna say about Jason Lee? He's pretty good in this, but let's talk about the plot because we haven't really talked about the plot yet.
Yeah, that's important.
Oh my goodness. Okay, no, I thought it was Frozen. We're good. Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt are a mother and daughter team of con artists, and they go around like marrying men and conning them out of money, basically. Very basically. And that's honestly all the plot that you really need to know, because the rest is just fun. There's lots of little fun
And it's
scenes.
hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's a good. I'd say it's a decent comedy because the laughs are relatively frequent. It's not like
There's minor injuries and a death, but,
Yeah.
it's all in fun.
Dark comedy is okay with me, but and some things are a little weird. Some things don't make sense. It's interesting to see Zach Galifianakis and Sarah Silverman in tiny bit roles before they were huge.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool, and I even had to look it up. I was like, "Is that Zach Galifianakis?" But it absolutely was. And he has like 4 lines in the movie or whatever, but he's in there. And what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, some of the weird shit in it. I'm trying to remember the line. There's a part where they're on the beach and they're like making out, Jason Lee and Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I forget, Jason Lee says something and it didn't make sense. Now I wish I would have written it down, but that's okay. Maybe I'll think of it in a bit. Good night, Roland Doja. Good night, friend. You got a dip. modding too many channels at once. That's fair. You gotta do what you gotta do. Thanks for being here for so long, though, friend, and the bits you dropped. I appreciate it. But yeah, Jason Lee.
Oh, was it that bit where they're like in the little swampy area and she's trying to convince him that she's an environmentalist scientist
It was
and he
right.
says
Yeah.
something weird there?
It was right after that part when they're like lying and looking up at the stars. There was something weird that I forget now, but it's okay. We'll just have to move on and then come back. If
Okay,
I
but I
remember.
think I do recall some like weird dialogue in that area. Like,
Oh, I think I remember
are
what
you
it
sure
was.
this should have been in the final cut, you guys?
Yeah, I think it was. I sort of remember what it was, and it was like Jason Lee like goes in for a kiss at a weird time, that I was just like I was sort of confused at. It didn't seem natural. I'm forgetting exact when, but it was during that scene with the looking at the stars. So that's close enough to remembering it. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to just things that I remember that I like. Ray Liotta is fucking good. So he's like the first, not the first one that they con, but the first one we see them con in the movie. It starts off with Sigourney's getting
The guy
married,
from Jersey?
or probably most notably, oh yeah, his character's from Jersey. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. I think of him as Ray Liotta because he's in
Where
Goodfellas.
he, goes from victim to accomplice.
Yeah, and that's kind of cool. There's lots of little levels that like you don't expect. Like, who's gonna get conned? Who gets conned next? The con just keeps conning. It keeps coming and it keeps conning, but it's fun for that reason. And there's
And it don't stop conning, and it don't stop conning.
exactly. No, it's fun for that reason, and the outfits. Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt both look great. Jason Lee is fine, I
Yeah, they
guess.
threw a bit of budget at the wardrobe, thanks.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because the ladies, they're already hot. You can put them in potato socks, and I'm gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, they had some fucking rhinestones and shit.
I kind of wish there was a version where they were wearing potato socks instead. Now that you mention it.
That's an episode of I Love Lucy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I believe it. I've actually never.
Ask your mom.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should. But back to the film. The part with Jason Lee, when we first introduced to Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Jennifer Love Hewitt's kind of being a bee, but like that's the point. And
Character development, yeah.
yeah, she's trying to con this rich doctor. Like she's waiting to con this rich doctor, which leads to another funny thing. So she's like chokes on purpose. I think she like puts a nut in her mouth or something, and chokes on it, and she's like trying to get the doctor to perform this rich doctor to perform Heimlich on her. But he just like walks past her and goes to his mom, which is kind of funny. But then of course Jason Lee, being the owner of the bar, comes and saves her, and she's like, "Why the fuck did you save me?" And she's being a bee, and that's the point.
Yep.
But one thing that is a little weird is like, would he like? I get she's hot, but would he really be like that and persistent when she's being such a bee? I don't know. I personally, I would stop. I would have stopped like a long ago. But I guess
Jack, the Jason Lee character,
Yeah.
pure fucking fiction, right?
Yeah,
He's,
exactly.
the real man.
There's
All of
no-
these targets are just types, right? But
Holy
here's,
shit.
this perfect man who's like this sweetheart bar owner who like
Yeah.
takes pictures of the stars at night and
Yeah. Like what?
doesn't he like volunteer and shit? Like he's not real.
He's the perfect movie man. Yeah, exactly. I get that. But thank
Yeah.
you so much, Roland Dozier. 10 bits. Holy fuck. Yeah, take care. Keep lurking. Keep doing you. Do what you gotta do. And I appreciate you. But Heartbreakers. Yeah, like I said, I'd seen this before when I was a little wee lad, and I feel like I watched it twice. I liked it. I feel like I liked it because of the pretty women in it. I feel like that was probably why I wanted to watch it again. Because we rented it from the library, so we had.
Yeah,
So-
fabulous costumings.
So
like
it only had it for a little
Hollywood
bit.
has a tradition.
Yeah, and plus the soundtrack we didn't even mention is dope. Not only Tropicala by Beck, which is one of my favorite Beck songs, but there's lots of other good tunes. I found myself bobbing in my head throughout and being like, good choice, good song choice. They're nailing the soundtrack. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, and like, it's not perfect. There's some silly bits, some things that might not make a little sense.
Come
Like
on, I loved the musical number where she's, the
back
Russian
in the
lady
USSR.
doing. Yeah, and like the band actually like plays along. Like
Yeah, that's
it's
funny.
such a good, fantasy.
So let's talk about the accents for a second here. Um, it's funny, I guess, but it's like it leads to so many problems. So like, why? I guess because she had that deportation plan at the end. That's how she gets Gene Hackman to agree to marry her at the end. It's like, oh well, I'm getting deported to Russia, but it leads to so many other problems with her possibly getting found out, with the Russian accent. So it's like, did they really need to choose that as a part of their characters when they're doing the con? But that's another sort of
I
minor
know, but
thing.
this is a silly movie, like Rat
Yeah.
Race, right?
No, I
Like,
get
just
it. I
buy
just
the fucking squirrel from Kathy Bates. Just be polite, okay?
Yeah, it didn't bug me too much, but I felt like it was at least noteworthy. And yeah, I liked the musical number back in the USSR. From it was a fun version. They did like a Russian version of back in the USSR with the I don't even know what those fucking instruments are called, but like Russian
All right,
guitars.
I gotta tell you, Doug.
What's
Please do
that?
check out a cover of "Back in the USSR" done by Chubby Checker.
Okay, I'm sure it's good. That's cool. I like Chubby
Right,
Checker.
I'm not a Beatlemaniac, but this cover, it's the shit. I promise.
I'm not a Beatle maniac either, but I respect that they made songs that are like super influential and stuff. And they like
Yeah,
if they didn't exist, a lot of the bands that I do love wouldn't. So there's that.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, if you want me to, always just tag me on Facebook. I'll watch it eventually. Anywho, back to this movie. Yeah, there's good bits like you said with people like she's like paying people off to just accept that she's conning this guy because they go to a Russian restaurant and the Russian waiter's clearly coming on to the idea that she is not Russian. She's not understanding anything he's saying in Russian. So, but she pays him a little bit. It was like, just shut up, and he's like, okay. So I
And
like,
then she stands up to like take a piss or something, and they're like, "Oh, our next singer."
yeah, yeah, that's right, and they're like, everyone knows this one Russian song, and she's obviously doesn't know it.
Yeah, clap,
But then
clap,
fuck it, we
clap.
will do back in the USSR. So it sort of worked out. Um, and let's talk about the late.
Damn, that old dude, he was a sweetie.
He's
When
in
the
stuff.
dick fell off the sculpture,
That guy
he
plays
got it
Russian
replaced.
people. That guy plays Russian people and other stuff. The waiter. You're talking about the guy from the auction, or
No, the old man who dies.
oh, Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That part's funny. He like, and it's sort of he does
He was
he does.
also sort of the perfect man. He was a fucking gentleman.
No,
I
he
loved
wasn't.
him.
Are you kidding me? He was like trying to rape her at the end. There, he was like, she was
Oh
like.
shit, I might be misremembering.
She was like, don't have sex with me, babe, like trying to get away, and he's like, I'm much stronger than you, but it's funny because he ends up just dying and hitting his head on the dick, so it works, but no, he's not a good person, and that's made clear throughout because he's like this
Okay,
smoking,
yeah,
he owns
definitely
tobacco,
misremembering
and
it.
he's like killing birds and stuff. But yes, Jason Lee is a hot piece of ass and a nice gentleman. Anyway, back
Yeah, he's the whole fucking package.
no for the show. And I don't want to ruin this ending. I'm just gonna say I liked the ending. It sort of keeps you thinking like, what's happening? What's happening? That's cool. But I'm running out of shit to say now about it. So if you want to go with anything else, go ahead.
Oh, I gave all of my ranting and ramblings.
Boom.
This movie has no right being as good as it is.
Yeah, apparently this movie, like when I talked about it to my buddy Dylan Gatton, he's like, he sort of like shoved it off as like, oh yeah, whatever. It's no Wild Things. He says it's maybe similar to this movie Wild Things. Have you heard of this film?
What's Wild
I
Things?
don't know. But I put it on the list. It's with
Is it an Alex Winters flick? Come on.
no,
I
it's
want to watch an Alex Winters flick called Wild
I think
Things.
it's another one about like women conning people. But
Oh,
but it's one of the women. Do you know the movie Starship Troopers?
I haven't seen it.
It's what I only say that because it's one of the women from that. But
Well, what about Sugar and Spice, where the pregnant cheerleader dolls rob a bank?
I don't know what that is.
You need to watch Sugar and Spice. It's so good.
There's so many things I gotta watch. Okay, the one thing at a time, one thing at a time. But
Right, but that's another one that's got a sort of
oh,
title and is
oh,
marketed as a chick flick
yeah.
that you might like overlook unless someone's like, "No, you have to watch this."
Oh, that's what everyone says about every movie. But let's let's just keep it
I've been
going.
pretty reliable. Come on now.
No, I'm not saying that your suggestions are bad. It's just that I get so many suggestions every second of every day. It feels like I just gotta slow it down sometimes.
Yeah, I gotcha. But
Um,
your friend says that this is a knockoff of some other movie that it totally isn't.
well, the other one is before it, the Wild Things. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just curious. I put it on the list just to see because we like this movie, Heartbreakers, and yeah, I wanna check it out if given the chance. It's on the all it means is when it's on the list is that I look it up on the internet when I'm trying to find a thing. But it doesn't guarantee that I can watch it or will watch it. But I will try. That's all the list. That's all the list
That's right.
signifies.
When you're going over to the
Yeah.
Tubi to type in the thing you're supposed to watch,
Wow. Wow.
that's when it's gonna pop up. Wild
Exactly.
things.
Wow. Bang. Exactly.
Wow.
That's exactly right. But yeah, I don't even have Netflix anymore. So boom, I only have Tubi. I might get Disney Plus. I'm thinking about it. It has Pretty Woman on it. Pretty Woman is one of the titles I've been wanting to do for a while. But because I've never seen it, and it's the highest grossing romantic comedy of all time.
Well,
Yeah, think about that. Anyway, I'm gonna rate this movie. What do you
I,
you
I
want to
need
rate
to
it?
watch Pretty Woman. Like, if I have seen it, it's been 30 years.
Yeah, like exactly. If people, it's an old movie, so that makes sense. But I've never seen it, so I'd like to give it a go. I'm gonna give this movie a solid 7. I'd say. I think that's fair. It's not perfect, but it's super fun. And
I'll
yeah.
give it 8 and 15. 8.15 Stevies.
so 9.5.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. I'm going to. Unless are you gonna you can't you didn't watch the other movie. You didn't watch Johnny Skidmarks, did you?
I did not watch Johnny Skidmarks. I'm logging out now, boss.
Okay. I appreciate it, Stevie. Thanks so much.
Night.
It was a pleasure. Bye bye. Okay. See you in the chat. I'm going to put on a beat. This is whatchamacallit. 220 from Turner Music SK. Oh, it's so loud. Okay. Heartbreakers, 7 out of 10. It was with Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt. It was pretty fun about conning men and whatnot. Some dark bits, but it's pretty funny. Not perfect, kind of silly. And Jason Lee is in it, Zach Galifianakis, Sarah Silverman, Gene Hackman. Good cast, decent movie. 7 out of 10 dogs. Okay.